What's up, everyone? I'm Spencer King. To my left is Jeff Walsh.
What's up, man?
Hey,
How
dude.
you doing?
Oh, man, I am excited to be here.
Here we go.
We're doing it.
We are.
This is The Meltdown, your weekly show where two grown men take comic books way too serious.
Way too serious.
And our obsession becomes your entertainment. Here we are.
Here we are.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. That took us way too long to get to.
You know, like I said before, you start
Way
with
too
a
long.
snowball and you end up with a snowman. You just got to get going.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
I have never built a snowman in my life.
Wow.
Ever. I think I've been in the snow maybe 4 times ever in my life.
And no snowmen.
No. Well,
Man.
okay, so one of those 4 was for a week. I was in Colorado,
That's plenty of opportunity for a snowman.
especially because I think there was like a blizzard or some crap that was happening.
Could have been keeping you inside.
No, it wasn't enough to keep us inside. We went
Oh.
out a lot.
Gotcha. So you have no excuse.
No, I don't. What's the appeal of building a snowman?
I was just going to say, accept all the effort into something that looks like
crap.
Yeah, you weren't trying.
It looks like crap.
No one can make the magazine-friendly snowman.
This is the
it's
best way to start a
ridiculous.
comic book show, by talking about snowmen.
True. Glad I brought it up.
Yeah, sweet. Good job.
Sweet. Comic books, though. We like those.
We love them. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
this is gonna be a train
and
wreck.
it's been like over a year.
Okay. So
Yeah,
are we gonna,
go ahead.
Are we gonna hop back in the Wayback Machine?
Let's hop back in that one.
A year. It's been over a year.
It's been over a year.
So how long have we been talking about this before we made it to let's do this?
I want to say like a year and a half, 2
So we
years.
talked about doing
We
this
talked about it for
before even attempting it.
Right.
And the actual conversation was at Starbucks,
Right.
and then we wanted different coffee.
Right.
You say different, I say better. And we went to Seven Leaves,
Won't argue.
okay, because Seven Leaves is the greatest. And if they're watching, I don't mind getting sponsored and having Seven Leaves on the show every single week.
Yes,
Although I don't
please.
think I want that because then I won't go to sleep that night. But who cares?
Oh,
That's
it's so
worth it.
good. It's so
Anyways,
good.
to where you and I would just sit and drink coffee once
Yep.
a week and
Yep.
talk about comic books.
Comic books.
Way too much.
Our life in
Just-
them.
Yeah, it was a lot. We talked about them a lot.
It was great.
And then you said the key phrase:
Yeah.
we're leaving money on the table
More or less,
because
leaving money on the table.
for some reason we think you're going to be entertained by this because we sure are.
Yeah, and sometimes when entertainment happens, money's on the table, and you have to take it.
and you have to pick it up.
You can't
Like,
leave it there.
I don't. What is this like a clump of money or is it a brick?
It's probably just your first wad of ones, just kind of all crumpled together. Yeah.
Where I'm going to like the comic book show and it's shoving money in the vendor's pants.
I haven't been to that con, but it sounds like a blast.
Oh, that voice.
I know. It's fine.
I can't. Don't do that.
It happens. Be ready.
No, I don't want to be.
But then, so we had that thought of like,
Okay.
why not
Yep.
just put a microphone on our table with us with our coffee?
Yeah. And then we had the worst idea
Yep.
of putting a microphone on the coffee table in public where literally at that time,
Oh man.
where the camera is now, probably cars were driving by. That's about how far it was.
Yeah, the sound quality was outdoor,
poor.
just poor. Yeah, just poor.
Poor.
And you never know when you're gonna get approached by just
Uh,
the most unique people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Asking for money or pizza.
Right.
Yeah.
Or faith.
Or telling us that we're. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we didn't get told we
so-
were bound for hell.
No, we did.
That sure didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah, it sure did.
But we decided on 4 walls.
Yeah, for
And
our
a
own
camera.
safety,
Right.
and to move it away from that,
Right.
into. Well, you guys can't see it, but it's the Meltdown studio.
Our Meltdown studio is not the kind of meltdown that we would have.
Yeah.
We had better ones about comic books because we would just lose it. We love the books,
Yeah.
but this place, we're glad you're only seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah.
You know?
If we flip that camera around,
If you
my
can
wife
flip it
might actually
around.
stop watching if she
yeah.
hasn't already.
Whew.
Hi, sweetie. Anyways,
So yeah, so we're
talking at Starbucks.
We're talking.
about comic books and
Yeah.
how much we love them.
Yeah.
and then we finally pulled the trigger.
Yep.
And then the computer that we were going to use to film the show was actually made in 1906, I believe.
Yeah.
It was actually wood.
Right.
And there was an actual hamster inside running it.
Right.
Who had died.
Right.
So
the centrifugal force is the only thing that was keeping it going.
So that didn't work. So then we had to figure out what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And now we have that behemoth that we built, and here we are.
So far, so good. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Here
Episode
we are,
1.
bringing our
you excited?
conversation to the people.
Are you excited?
I am excited,
I'm excited.
especially because we've been holding off on having a real comic book
Dude,
conversation.
how many conversations?
Oh my
Just take an estimate of how
gosh.
many conversations that you and I have been around each other and then
Right.
went, no, we can't talk about that because that would make a funny show.
Let's save that for the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
then
you're welcome.
Week after week of
Oh my
setbacks.
gosh. Week after, just next week. Next week. But that was
Hey,
last week.
that was last week, and
This
now
week-
next week is this week.
It's happening. Gosh.
Yeah.
I know. I'm stoked. This is sweet.
I'm super happy. This is gonna be sweet.
Right.
Because we are wildly obsessed with
Yeah.
indie comics.
Yeah.
We love indie comics. We love indie comics.
We do love the independent comic books.
Yeah.
Where did that all start for you?
So let me think. I'm a particular age.
You are.
I am.
I'm not there yet.
Nope.
Nope.
But I am just shy of the 40 region.
Yeah.
And so I've been reading comic books for 30 years?
Yeah.
30-ish years.
Okay.
And then, as most people who've been around comics know, Marvel and DC were pretty much the only two publishers around for a long time. There was
Right.
like a small smattering of like indie comics that I was too young and I wasn't really into those. And then the mid 90s hit,
Yeah.
and the behemoth that is now Image Comics was founded.
Oh, nice.
And I was super excited.
Yeah.
I still remember walking into the comic book store the day Image Comics hit the shelves with Youngblood.
Okay.
That was their first comic.
Nice.
It was Rob Liefeld wrote and drew it. And at the time, I was extremely obsessed with Rob Liefeld. Anything he did, I loved it.
Was Deadpool a thing then?
I was reading X-Force prior to that because
Okay.
he was doing that. And I
Yeah.
love that. And then like I became so obsessed with Rob Liefeld, I was seriously buying Hawk and Dove,
Oh.
which is where he first started.
Man.
Yeah, it was bad.
Right.
I loved that guy.
I hear he can't draw his feet.
I wasn't going to mention that. But, you know,
I was helping you out along the way.
it appears as though he can't draw feet.
Sure. Conveniently placed behind rocks in every
Rocks
frame.
and or circular objects.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, I don't know if that's still the case because I haven't seen a Rob Liefeld comic book in like ages.
Sure,
so.
we're not throwing Rob under the bus
Well, we did
here.
a little bit, but that's okay.
A little bit, but
Because
you know, people
what
can improve.
Youngblood did
Okay.
is it got the appetite set, if you will. Because the next book that launched
Yeah.
was officially the very first book that I loved with all my heart. This would be Spawn issue number 1, and I don't even know where to begin with this book, seriously. This is probably... Okay, so you know this, but they don't.
Right.
I have... Oh, wait, I'm supposed to put this up here.
Yeah,
Sweet.
you know, so they can.
Yeah, you know.
They wanna
there
look
we go.
at it.
First show, we're still getting used to things.
It's fine.
It's fine. I gotta resist.
No, you're doing great.
Okay, sweet.
Spawn.
So yeah, no. I
Yeah.
was thinking. So this
Okay.
is the longest running comic book that I've ever read
Oh, nice.
because I'm still reading it.
Does it break though? Does it ever start
No.
over at number 1?
No.
It's
Yeah.
been continuously going.
I think it's on issue 258.
All right. Wow.
Yeah, and so I wrote about this on the blog that
Where can we find that blog?
reversemeltdown.com. Yeah, there hasn't been a new post up for a little bit, but you know,
Maybe by the time this video
maybe
goes
time
live,
you see this, I'll write another thing.
it'll be a little
I'll,
updated.
you know, do a little type and then write a thing.
Perfect.
So this book came out like mid 90s and hasn't stopped, and I haven't stopped buying it, and I literally became obsessed with Spawn.
Nice.
Oh my gosh! Listen, folks. I'm gonna get real here.
All right, here we go, guys.
For those of you that hate on Spawn, just maybe do better with your decision making. Because I would argue, and I think I could argue well, that for a book that has not taken the easy route of rebooting, which, let's be honest, there are 2 publishers that reboot about every 2 years, and that is one of the reasons why we love indie comics.
Yes.
Because we've both been reading comics for a long time, and they don't do that. We're tired of that.
Right.
Sick of reboots.
Right. Give me
Now, some might say that 250 some odd episodes, it's gotten stale.
Sure. Some do.
Okay, and they do. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. So far, he's fought Satan, like Angela, which is now a Marvel property,
Okay.
was introduced here.
Mhm.
Great character. Love that character. She's messing with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is one of my favorite books. But for 250 some odd books, this book has stayed interesting. That's the thing that gets me. Like, he did what I would call a soft reboot recently.
Okay.
Okay, now what a soft reboot, what I'm classifying as soft reboot is,
Is that when most of the clothes stay on?
it only took us 13 minutes
I know.
before the joke.
I can't. I'm not. Why stop?
Okay, so he did a flaccid reboot.
Oh gosh.
Okay, you opened this.
I did.
You did.
I deserve that. Sorry, guys.
Okay, so where he fundamentally changed the character while keeping the character the same.
Okay.
Okay, so for those of you who aren't reading, this is maybe I'll call it a minor spoiler.
Sure.
But so in issue 1 through the very first ones, so basically what happens is, if you don't have familiar Spawn, I'm gonna run through real quick. Al Simmons, like crazy super soldier type guy,
Yeah.
dies.
Ooh.
He's upset that he's dead because he loves his wife and kid, or he loves his wife because the kid's not in the picture yet. Sorry, and then he makes a deal with Satan to come back to Earth, and he's wearing what they call the Spawn symbiote. You don't find that out till later, and he's like supercharged with hell powers. Well, he was a good guy, and so he's not real fond of being a bad guy.
Right.
He rebels.
Ooh.
Yep, and all kinds of stuff happens.
Yeah.
So he's like really strong. Now his powers do have like a limit. Like there's early on they do like a little clock with the thing where he uses a power and he loses like 10 numbers out of a thing. It was weird. They got rid of that. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't dig that.
That's fair.
But recently, to save his child's life and his wife, who was killed in a car accident, he goes into hell to get her soul.
Yeah.
And he decides while he's there to punch Satan in the face.
Yeah.
It was pretty legit.
Yeah.
Eric Larson, who was also on the original Image launch team with Savage Dragon, which I know you don't know about that.
It's fine.
Another great book I was obsessed with when I was a kid.
Yeah. It's cool that you know things.
He is now drawing Spawn, and I love it.
Nice.
Because he brings like this, oh my gosh. Okay, so what Eric Larson brings to Spawn is like that classic comic book feel.
Okay.
But it's a little more like up to date. Like his style's a little looser than what it used to be.
Okay.
And I love it. But he's such a good artist that like he like breathed life into Spawn that really could have used it after 200 some odd episodes, or 200 issues. It was great. So now the big change, the flaccid reboot, is that in order to save his wife and all that other stuff, he gave up the suit and all the power.
Well, dang.
And
But he's still in hell, like he's still a servant.
no, so he got out of it
because he punched Satan in the face.
Well, he actually broke out of that whole thing, issue 180. He killed himself because he was tired of being a pawn.
After he was already dead?
Yeah, so he actually managed to. He found this particular spot, like this spiritual neutral zone.
Yeah.
I think it was in New York, if I'm not mistaken. And he put a gun in his head, and it was the only spot where he could find where he could actually nothing could get to him, and he killed himself.
Wow.
So then another dude took on Spawn for a while.
Uh-huh.
Then they brought Al Simmons back because come on, it's Al Simmons. Come on, what are you gonna do? So now Spawn's back. He managed to sneak out a little Spawn suit out of hell.
Little
He's
juice for later.
He's a little minorly charged, if you will.
Okay.
So he's resorting back to his old military stuff. So he's loading up with guns and fighting demons with guns and a little bit of hell power, and it's freaking great. It's
good.
Freaking great.
You're going strong. This is like back in the day till now.
Yeah, this is it. I am from one to here all the way through.
Wow.
Love it.
That's cool. That's something that I can't say that I have that about it.
This is the
in
only
any
book that I have where I have from 1 to now. We're good.
No, that's freaking dope though. Like that's a legacy.
That
right
is.
there.
And then this book kind of broke the mold, if you will. Okay, so I'm a kid. I'm a dumb little 10-year-old or whatever you want to call it.
Dumb kids.
So in the mid-90s, I was almost 20. So I'm a dumb little kid, right?
Yeah,
I'm like 17, the dumbest little kid
Gosh,
ever.
I hate you. Now.
Yeah.
Just like
it was bad. Okay.
I feel that.
So in my heart of hearts, I only believe Marvel and DC are like the comic book. If it's not published by them,
right.
it's garbage, right?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, if you're good and you're telling a good story, why wouldn't Marvel or DC publish you, right? That makes sense.
You know, it's really not illogical thinking.
It's not for a dumb kid,
right?
It's
when you're
not.
starting out,
yeah, it was bad.
Gotta start
because
somewhere.
I had no idea. Like, there's so many good comics that aren't published by them.
That's true.
So, anyways, so Image happens. And then the way I rationalize Image not being Marvel or DC is that it was pretty much all like the big dogs from those companies that left to start Image. So I'm like, okay, so I'm not reading Marvel or DC, but I kind of am because they're doing their own thing. Then a couple of years later, I'm even more obsessed with comics, and I discover something that you don't read,
right?
But I am obsessed with webcomics.
Right.
Now, for those of you that don't know, webcomics are comics that are primarily published on the internet. So a lot of times there's not a lot of like physical copies that come out every month, but they do. It's just not comic strips. There's like full-blown stories going now, which is great. But they're primarily published on the web, and then after they get some like traction audience, they end up like doing prints and stuff, and I've bought a few of those because they're great.
Right.
So, in my mind, those are two very separate things. Like, webcomics stay on the web. Images might as well be Marvel or DC. And then one day in my comic book store, while I'm literally walking to get the newest issue of this,
okay, what
I
happened?
stumble across.
Oh man, what was it?
This is a deep one.
Yeah. Had no idea this book existed. Like I don't even know what this is.
He didn't
when he brought it in.
So I'm gonna assume that all of you, except for my wife, have no idea what this book is.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be. Let's give that one guy credit, though.
Okay. So, dude, you know how great this is.
Yeah.
PvP.
Yeah.
Player versus player.
I knew that.
Okay. Written and created by Scott Kurtz.
Okay.
Again, late 90s. So, I've been reading PvP. I missed the so let's say I came in about a year after it had been published on the internet. Again, have been reading this for 20 some odd years. Even own some t-shirts and some merch because Scott Kurtz, I love you. You're a great guy. Premise of this book. Bunch of video game nerds work at a video game magazine called PvP. In this office, there is a troll. An actual troll.
Well, because I know, like...
Not internet troll.
Okay.
Not like we're probably going to get in the comments.
No Richard Fields.
No. None of that.
Gotcha.
None of that.
Gotcha. Shout out to Richard Fields.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up,
He is
man?
actually a big fat blue troll that has a farting problem.
Classic troll.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So for a long while, people couldn't actually see him. Only certain people that like in the office could see him and stuff like that. But basically, it was a gaming webcomic. It was a comic that he wanted to write. He originally had every intention of like getting newspapers, and then that's a long deal. That's not a thing anymore because he's probably making 10 times whatever he would have made in the newspapers since they're all crumbling around us.
Yep.
Because internet. But anyways, so this was cool because you and I, as anybody who's probably watching this that knows us knows, we love video games.
That is true as well.
So the fact that I was in a comic book store and found a webcomic about video games that I had only seen on the internet.
Right.
And then I pick it up and I look and I'm like, this is the webcomic.
Yeah. But no web this time.
No web.
Wow.
So that was it. That was it for me. Like this, I've said this on the blog, like this comic was the one that like shattered my view of comics where I'm like, I love this comic. So what else am I missing? Because I refuse to buy anything that's not printed by Marvel, DC, or Image.
Right.
Which, long story short, funny. I don't even buy Marvel or DC anymore. So, well, I had to take that back because Daredevil and Guardians of the Galaxy are great. But,
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with those. So.
You're allowed,
Dude.
You're
Yeah.
totally allowed.
So,
Wow. And how much? Like that was a while back, and now you're.
That was mid '90s,
Yep.
and then just to make the whole thing full circle, if you notice, this is published by Dorkstorm.
What's next?
PvP got so big that it was then published by our good friends over at Image, and that would be issue number 1. There was that as well.
The Image. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, anyways, this is actually printed this way, so you can.
It's pretty.
You guys can't see it, but he can.
Oh yeah, look at that.
See?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Like that. And if you do not know about PvP,
check it out.
check it out.
Yeah, look it
Google
up.
PvP webcomic. It'll show
Yeah.
up.
Is it colored on the inside, or just the
No.
covers are colored?
No, so like they're colored. Certain strips are colored.
Okay.
So
I
like,
see.
black and white, and then somewhere in here there was a color one.
I saw.
See, there you go.
Okay.
There's color.
There's a little bit
There's
in there.
color at the end. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, they're full color now, and
All right.
dude, that comic, I love that comic. Skull is my spirit animal
Good to know.
because
For couples trivia later down the road.
yeah, his flatulence problem mirrors mine really.
Skull is the troll.
Yeah, Skull is the troll, and he
Ah.
farts pretty much constantly.
Yeah.
One of my favorite comics, I don't remember what number it is, but there's an issue where they're okay. So modern day PvP, they're not a magazine anymore because magazines are dead.
True.
It's all about internet stuff.
True.
So they become a phone game publisher.
Yeah.
So they make a game called Farty Troll,
Farty troll.
and so they need Skull to go into the sound booth
Gosh.
and record farts
nice.
for the noises.
right.
Unfortunately, he blows out some mics,
Of course.
and the guys that go in to replace it have to wear hazmat suits. Literally in my top 3 favorite comics of all time.
there you go. I mean, we're getting to know you here,
That's it.
and that's the best way to.
Yeah, that's really that's my
Man.
Those are my 2 obsessions.
Wow.
My indie obsessions.
It kind of started down your path of, like you said, mostly just reading independent comic books.
Dude, like seriously, like I have so many old issues of Daredevil, it's retarded.
Right.
It's
There's
so stupid.
There's still some of them that bit.
Yeah, I
that
have
hang in there.
so many like that Frank Miller drew and stuff.
Okay.
Like, oh, they're good ones.
Dang.
But yeah. That's my deal.
There you go.
For everyone out there in internet land. Now you know where I came from for comic books.